All right. Good morning, everyone. All right. Thank you. Well, hey, welcome to Youth Sunday, right? It's a nice day to change some things up. So, speaking of change, I've got a question for every single one of you. What is something you want to change in your life? What's something that you want to look different, that you want to be new? Something that you might be hungry for, that you're seeking? What is that change that you want? And how many of you here know how to achieve that change? Where that change comes from, the process of beginning new things within your life? Well, to be more specific, what I'm talking about is working in your faith to achieve change in your life according to God's plan for you. Now, that's very specific, especially when it comes to working within your faith. The start of that whole process of beginning new things really starts with a relationship with God. It is working in partnership with God and with the Lord to begin and grow into where you want to be. To see the things that you want to see, it takes partnership. It takes guidance. Part of that in Proverbs says this. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Now that verse is very important. It does not say that maybe He will establish your plans, that possibly He will establish your plans. It says that He will. If you rely on the Lord, if you work with the Lord, He will deliver. Your plans will come to fruition. But it takes partnership. And it takes faith. But what do I mean when I say faith? What am I saying when I bring up the word faith? There's a difference between faith and belief. To say that you believe in Jesus, that you know of Jesus, that you love Jesus, is not the same as faith. Faith is following Jesus, living in the way that Jesus is calling you to live, not just talking about it, not just saying and acknowledging Him. Even the demons know Jesus' name. They know He exists. So what sets you apart by just saying His name? It's faith. It's living in that way. They don't live like that. They don't follow that. They don't put their trust into Jesus, and that is the difference. Faith is so important in the process of change. Living the correct way is so important. Faith without action is dead. Dead. And that's a huge, huge word. It's not saying that it's weak, that it could use some work, that it needs help. It's dead. If you are not living your faith, it is dead. You cannot create change. You cannot grow and be new without faith. And this isn't just me saying this. I'm not just putting that word out there. In James, chapter 2, verse 17, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. So the Lord is saying, if you are to have faith in me, and you are to truly love and follow me and speak the words that you do, there needs to be something behind it. Your faith needs to have substance. It cannot just be words. It cannot just roll off the tongue. I have an analogy of faith in action, of working in your faith. Maybe I set a goal for myself. And I say, okay, God, I want to run a marathon. I want to run a marathon, but not only do I want to run this marathon, I want to get first place. That's my goal. That's the change I want to see in my life, is that I want to get first place. So I ask for that. And I go into this with working with God and having a partnership, and I say, please just help me get there. Help me achieve this goal. Well, I can't wake up the next morning and expect to be handed a medal. I can't wake up the next morning and expect that I'm going to have a plaque that says, great job, you did it, you ran the marathon. That's just not how it works. Things are not going to be done for me. I have to take the step myself. I have to put in the work and the effort. I have to go out and run that marathon. But God's not just going to leave me on my own. He tells me that He will establish my plans. So if I ask Him for this, if I ask Him to help me get to this point in my life, what He will do is He will provide me with opportunity. He will give me shoes and tell me, go out and run. Go run and I will be there with you. But do not expect that I will do it for you. God provides us opportunity, not shortcuts. When you ask for things to change, He doesn't just make them change, but He helps you do it on your own. Because it's a partnership of He will do this, but He's going to do it through you. You have to take the steps. He doesn't just change our circumstances, but instead He changes us through them. God doesn't just change the things that are around you, but He uses them to help to mold you and build you into what it is that you're looking for. We're all looking for something different, and we all live different lives. So God uses that as a tool to help get you there. But you have to be willing to work with Him in those ways. It says this in John chapter 15, verse 5. I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. It takes the partnership. Again and again, God is telling us, if you just bring it to me, if you go through all of these hardships with me, good things will come. But you have to be willing to face hardship, to go through those tough times and know that there is a reason. It's not just hard on you to be hard on you. It is there for a reason. It builds you up. It helps you. Transformation is so hard to achieve on your own. God takes the weight of it all so that it is possible for you to get to these places. Transformation really, really is rooted in your heart. For you to change the way that you live is to change your heart. And it's so hard to do that. Pharaoh didn't want to change, and he hardened his heart many times. Because to change your heart, it takes surrender, and it takes humility to go to God and say, please, you know what? I do need help. And I haven't been doing things right. I haven't been living the way that I'm supposed to live, the way that you are calling me to live. I need that help. And He reassures us, if you come to me, if you ask for that help, yes, these things will happen. You just have to do it. And you cannot be afraid of it, of the challenge, of the process. It is so important to have your heart in it. In Matthew chapter 15, verse 8, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. So it ties back into just saying these things is not enough. It has to be involved in your heart. Changing your life has to be involved in your heart. It is not simply just changing the way that you speak and you think. It's changing how you live, what you do. That people see Jesus in what you do and not what you say. That they meet Jesus in what you do before they hear it from what you say. It's living. And your faith cannot be alive if you don't give it life. If you don't live that way. Your faith needs heartbeat. And it comes from you. You have to give it that. So, what is a way that you do that? What is a way that you create that life, that you give your faith something, that you back it up? Well, a great example of that is service, right? Going out and helping the people that you see around you, whether it's at church or wherever it is. but it's very situational. Service has to come from obedience, not from comfort. If I stay serving in the areas that I'm comfortable, I can't grow. Nothing's changing. There's nothing new going on. There's no challenges in my life. I'm just staying where I want to be. If I serve in the ways that I'm comfortable, that I like, that I feel good about, and not in the ways that God is calling me to be, not the places that He's showing me that I should go, if I'm doing it all for myself and in the ways that I like, who am I serving? Who am I serving? If I'm stuck in where I'm comfortable, I'm not serving the Lord, I'm serving myself. I'm doing it how I want, not how I'm being told. To be honest, I'm not really a big fan of public speaking. I'm not, right? That's just the truth. I'd rather be up there running the sound like usual, taking out the trash. But this is where I got called to be. And I can't ignore that. I can't stay where I'm comfortable. I can't grow that way. This is new. This is growth. Just taking the step and having the faith that, you know what, I hope it works out. Thanks, I guess, yeah. So you cannot just stay where you're comfortable. And you can't be indecisive either. I can't say, well, I really like being over here and working in the children's ministry. That's just what I like to do. But, God wants me to go on mission. He wants me to go out all the way into Mexico. And I say, I don't know. And so instead of making a decision, instead of following where God's pushing me, I just step back. But in the end, my indecision is a decision. Me not deciding ends up choosing for me. There's a story. And this story isn't mine. I liked it a lot. Of a man. And he walks out into a field. And in the field he sees a fence right down the middle, a very long fence. And so he walks up. And he's like, man, what's going on? And he looks on the right side of the fence and he sees Jesus. He goes, whoa, Jesus, you're here. And Jesus is like, yeah, I am. He goes, man, this is awesome. And he looks away, looks to the left side of the fence. He sees Satan. And so Satan gives him an ultimatum. He says, if you come on my side of the fence, I'll give you everything you ever wanted. Everything you ever wanted and more. But if you go on Jesus' side of the fence, you can't have any of it. Not a single bit of what I promised you. And the man says, man, everything? That's great. I want a lot of things. So he sits there and he thinks about it. He doesn't know what to do. And he goes, and he asks Jesus, and he says, well, Jesus, if I come onto your side of the fence, what am I going to get? And Jesus looks at me and says, what are you going to get? Nothing. I'm not going to give you anything. I'll give you love and compassion. You can earn things with me, but I won't just hand you anything. And the man says, well, gosh, I just always wanted this relationship with Jesus. But at the same time, everything ever, all the money, all the cars, this is just, I don't know what to do. So he comes up with an idea. And he sits on the fence. And he puts one leg on the side with Jesus and one leg on the side with Satan. And he goes, man, I'm smarter than both of you. I get a little bit of Jesus. I get everything I ever wanted. This is great. I figured it out. I beat it. Everything is black. Now in front of him is Satan. I didn't pick you, Satan. What are you doing? I didn't choose you. I sat on the fence. And he says, you did pick me. Your indecision in that moment was a decision. You not following God, not sticking with Him, not going over there with Him was a decision. You picked me. Just because you sat there doesn't mean you didn't pick anything. You picked me. So it is so important that we don't put what we want over what we need to do. And not all the time is it that what we need is what we want. Because I don't want to work hard. I don't think any of us do. But it is so important to work hard. It does so much. So go out and ask God for that purpose. Where am I supposed to be? Am I in the right place? Am I doing the things that I need to be doing? Ask Him, and He will tell you. But through this whole process of changing your life, of finding new things, of getting to the places that you want to be, what is super, super important on all of it is your perspective. If I look at myself and I say, well, you know what? God can't change me. I'm nothing. I'm just a big old empty field of dirt. That's all I am. Just a bunch of dirt. You can't do anything with that. What's He going to do? Change can't come if you don't let it. Things can't be new if you think that this is all that you are. So change your perspective. What can I put there? This is a blank canvas. There's so much opportunity there. You just have to see it. You have to chase opportunity. So what do I want there? Maybe I want a house. Maybe I want trees. Maybe I want a garden or flowers. I just want something beautiful. So I tell God, I say, hey, I feel like dirt. I feel like nothing. But I want to be beautiful. I want my life to be beautiful. I want people to see me and to see great things. Help me. Help me get there. And He's not going to say no. He's going to say, okay, I will do that. And so He'll give me seeds and tell me, go plant these. And those seeds are opportunity. They're challenges. So I go out and I plant them. And I come out every day and I work, making sure that they stay right. Everything's good. Nothing's going wrong. And it's going to be hot. And the sun is going to be on my back, and I'm going to get sunburned, and it's going to suck. And then the rain is going to come in, and the rain is going to beat on my back, and it's going to be cold, and the ground's going to be muddy, and I'm going to slip, and I'm going to sink. But I keep on going. I keep on tending to the opportunity that I have been given. And so eventually, when that rain is cleared and the sun comes back out, there will be beautiful flowers. My life will be transformed. I will no longer be what I thought I was. God can do so much with you. Out of the dirt, He made man. And you think that He can't do something with you as you already are? There's so much He can do. You just have to be willing to work with Him. If you want to be new, if you want to be different, if you want to look like how you want to feel, I don't know if that made sense, actually. Said it out loud, and I was like, wait a minute. You guys know what I mean. You get my point. If you want to achieve those ways, if you want to get to that point, you just got to do it. You just got to take the step. You take that step, and God's going to meet you there. And He's going to work with you the whole time. When you slip and you fall, He's going to pick you up. You just have to do it with Him. It takes faith. And it takes true, real faith. Faith that's in your heart, not just in your mind, not just from your lips, from what you do, from how you live. So chase that change. There's nothing stopping us. You just have to want it. So I'll close this off with prayer. Bow your heads with me, please. Lord, I pray that You would help us all, that You would show us the avenues that we're supposed to go in, that You would help us to really be guided, that You would guide our church as a whole in its time of change, finding new things, becoming a new church. That You would stick with us through every hardship and show us the value of the work that we are putting in, Lord. That You would protect every single one of us in this building and bring our plans to fruition. Amen.